5 lights, and away we go. I think everybody got a decent start there.
That's an insane start from Koushik. Exactly what he would have wanted. Oh, RB Ferraro, he just sneaked onto the inside and he has to P2.
Salvage some points all the way down.
Eccentric sending down the inside on Oxygen, and Oxygen is coming back alongside. Putting his wheels, and he's side by side going around the outside. And I think he's got the move done. Yes, he has got the move. Oh, still there side by side, but it's got the inside line.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to yet another installment in IRC Tier 2 F1 22. It has been an exciting weekend of racing so far, and we look forward to yet another round in this exciting Tier 2 championship, which is reaching its final stages as we head to the sunny state of France to check out Le Castellet, also known as Paul Ricard in its modern name. We are joined in the commentary box by Moto and Haphazard. How are you doing, lads?
Great, perfect.
Yeah, I'm doing amazing as well.
France is one of those circuits that it's not that exciting for most of the part, but sometimes we get some really good racing action around here, and I think we're in for some more as well. Tier 2 has not been anything short of breathtaking this season. I mean, Singapore was a good example of that. We set the record for the most number of safety cars in a race. I think we actually maxed out the game's quota of safety cars. So France definitely has a lot to offer in that aspect. Maybe not in the way of retirements, but definitely in the way of drama. So before we head into that, let's go ahead and have a quick look at the track video. So France, 15 turns, 5.8 kilometers. Sector 2 is basically just one large straight, the Mistral straight with the chicane in the middle. 15 turns, as we said. The main focus is going to be on Sector 3 here because it is a high wear circuit that really punishes the tires. So Sector 3 is going to be crucial in terms of managing your tires and getting them up to speed. But, because of the high wear nature, tires are going to be pretty warm on the outlap. Let's have a look at the Hotlap.
And welcome on board a lap of France here in Le Castellet. Heading into turns 1 and 2, late apex of turn 1, sacrifice the entry for the exit of 2. Make sure you're very stable on the exit as there is a bump that can unsend your car. Into turn 3 now, you want to send the car in. Turn 4, use all the curve on the left hand side to rotate the car. Turn 5, use the mechanical grip of the tires to rotate the car on the brakes as well. Balance the car on the throttle for the Mistral straight. Make sure you get a good exit here because there's a very long straight coming up and possibly your best bet to overtaking on the circuit. Now make sure you open DRS as you're heading down the Mistral straight. Preparing for the chicane, you want to be on the right hand side, brake just for the curve, flick the car in, maximum commitment required, rotate the car on the brakes, and then throttle out as early as you can, 5th gear short shift to get better exit as you're heading on board to another straight now, approaching seam corner now, flat right in these cars, very easy, just make sure you're minimum the steering as to not cause too much friction with the track surface. Into turn 10, you want to send the car in, take a late apex, throttle out as early as you can before the apex. Into turn 12 also moves, bend off, late apex over here as well. Throttle out as early as you can before the apex. In fact, use the curve to the right to expand the track to your advantage. Second last corner, lack, turn 14. Flick the car in for the hairpin now. Make sure you rotate the car again on the brakes and then throttle out again early, making sure you don't get any wheel spin, and that's a lap of the Castellet.
And we're back after that quite rapid of a hot lap by Rissel, very own Tier 1 driver there, which does go live tonight at 8 p.m. So make sure you do tune for that. But yeah, you're here with me, and let's talk a little bit about the circuit. Or rather than let's talk a bit about the standings before we talk about the circuit in Tier 2, because the championship has been sort of topsy-turvy, but we do have a clear leader in Shawshank, who did have quite a bit of his points gap cut in the last one due to some driver errors and shenanigans throughout the grid. Because yeah, tier 2 Singapore is very chaotic, so make sure you do check that out if you want your dose of drama. But yeah, half looking at these standings, what are your key points? I think that Alpine and McLaren are still in the tussle with Ferrari as well for the constructors, and then Strendy has put that gap back down to 28 points right now. So what do you think? What do you think are some plot lines in covering for this race?
I think one of the important plot lines is the midfield battle. You can see how close they are from third to fifth, essentially. So yeah, we need to take a look at Montero, Swatcat, Ritesh, and Facecrack. These not even Facecrack, but yeah, these three boys, Montero, Swatcat, and Ritesh. These guys are extremely close to each other, and yeah, they have had a very good form in the past few races. I think Montero's been a bit unlucky with some of his recent races. But yeah, the Alpine boys, my God, they have gotten a lot of points for their team, and quite respectfully, they are leading the world's the constructors championship. So we need to sort of take a look at McLaren to see what they bring to the table as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Battles are heating up, and the grid is ever so tight. And Strendy is again on the charge. And speaking of the track now, we come to France after a very chaotic Singapore. Two very different circuits, as you guys know. One is like very high speed, and the other is very more mechanical dependent. More work done by the suspension, the tires, rather than the aerodynamics of the car. So, do you think these drivers are gonna adapt to such a change from Singapore? Do you think you're gonna have more drivers doing well, some drivers who aren't good at low speed corners doing well? Do you think it's going to be the same pecking order we saw in Singapore?
Yeah, I think the moment where you feel most of the changes, I think, in my opinion, it's in the first sector. I mean, acing that first sector with these new cars is very important. And after that, it's all about following the car closely. And it's, again, as you mentioned, sector 2 is a complete straight essentially. So there's not an issue falling through sector 2, and sector 3 is tough, but then again, it's quite easy to follow around another car in sector 3, and you have a chance to go for an overtake, maybe at a Busset if, let's say, another driver gets a weird line into turns 11 and 12.
Yep, just having a look at the quick weather forecast. Pretty interestingly, no rain. But what is interesting here is that it is overcast for the race, so maybe these drivers can afford to run a bit lower, higher on the pressure side of things in the tires, giving them a bit more straight line speed, as they might not overheat as much because of the conditions. But yeah, it certainly opens up more opportunities to experiment with the setup, though. I don't think they're going to have many sessions to do that because of park Ferme being a thing. But I don't think pressures come under park Ferme, if anyone can confirm that.
Yeah, it doesn't come under park.
Yeah, it doesn't. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty sure these drivers will be trying something with the pressures then for the race. But now just heading on to track, onward to the Ferrari, looking ever so gorgeous as usual. That bodywork is just spectacular, like the fins and all. But yeah, Shawshank has been quite dominant this season. We've spoken a lot about how well he can do in the race as opposed to qualifying, because that's where the points are won, and he certainly seems to be picking up quite a few in every weekend. So, yeah, Aitzil, welcome back as well. I hope you've had your hot water drink, and yeah, do you want to drop in a few comments as to what you're expecting?
I was going to say while you were talking through the standings that Heisenberg, although he's had a bit of an up and down season so far, I think he might be a major force to be reckoned with at this race, because this was definitely his strongest track in past seasons in Tier 2 as well. He's been very, very strong here. It's got a good grasp of the track, and more importantly, he's very fast in the race as well. He can manage those tires over the course of a stint, and of course, he doesn't get into unnecessary battles. So I think without putting the IRC commentator's curse has struck pretty hard in the past. Without cursing him too much, I think we can expect a good performance from both Ferrari drivers this weekend, which should help them out big in the Constructors' Championship, in which they've fallen back a bit.
Indeed, indeed. And as we see, go on board with the Ferrari of Shawshank on a lap, already pushing the limits quite a bit. Sector 1's all about chucking the car in and just hoping that it sticks, honestly, with the way you approach the corners at such tight angles where you can just afford to flick the car in because there's a quick corner coming up right after as well. And also that curve, that left hander, where you can use the entire curve to rotate the car in itself. Again, over here, the chicane as well. Most of these corners are all about rotation under braking, how well you can get the car to rotate on the brakes and the throttle without having to put in much effort on the steering. I mean, that's how all fast drivers really drive in sims, and it really shows with the way Shawshank is taking his approach. He's really able to rotate the car under the brakes. Could we just have a look at the telemetry, Dan, if it's possible to enable that and see what all inputs these guys are enabling right now? But in onboard Shawshank, he does a pretty decent sector 2, look quite clean and tidy, and certainly not pushing the entire limits of the track. As he approaches his final hairpin, gentle dab on the brakes there, rotating the car again, and then getting a slingshot short exit out of that last hairpin there. And that's on board for a 31.4. Yeah, quite a decent banker there. Grip levels will be quite low right now, and yeah, certainly more things to come from that Ferrari driver there.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to confirm, if I'm not wrong, park form is supposed to be off, right? Because of a recent bug with the game. Has that been fixed?
I think that's only for sprint races, where even after enabling park firm, you still have the option to change your setup. So
Oh, right, okay.
they've just
Nah,
gone and switched it off.
unfortunately, I think that's the problem with all the formats of a race available. So
Oh, is
I
that
think
right?
Park Farm A is off in general until they can find a fix for that. So
Well,
yeah,
that
I think
certainly, that certainly opens up the door for quite a few changes these drivers can afford to make between qualifying and the race, because you want a car as pointy as you can for qualifying. Something that really sticks into the tarmac, bites into the tarmac, gaining you that lap time. Probably go for something a bit more conservative in the race, counting for tire wear and then DRS trains and dirty air and whatnot. So, do you think these drivers are going to exploit that rule change, or do you think we're just going to see a similar sort of tone setup between the two sessions?
I think we'll still see a tone setup. I'm not sure if the drivers are gonna exploit it or not. But yes, if some drivers do, then again, we really can't. Of course, this game is buggy as hell, so this is why we're talking this thing. But yeah, we can't really do much in that scenario. With regards to the Alpha Romeo of Charles Jones, I saw him take a very weird line on his Hotlap through the last few corners. So I wonder if that's just the rear of that car catching him or getting it absurdly, how do I say this, difficult to manage.
Maybe going for a bit of an oversteery setup and not quite being able to handle it. Maybe that's the case. Not quite tweaking it from the time trial setup you do get from the leaderboard. So yeah, if you didn't know, the setups you get on the time trial, they're usually very on the edge. Not quite suited for Grand Prix mode in any session, even qualifying, because of the tire temperatures and whatnot. So yeah, probably didn't quite change much in that, and you can see the effects of that taking place in the session, as you mentioned. But looking on board to the current standings in qualifying, I can see that there's not quite a gulf in difference between Shawshank and Facecrack. They're 2.5 bit tenths only, which is quite different from the norm we have seen throughout the season. But yeah, there's Duke going for a spin through that very tricky traction zone. I'm sure you guys have done a few laps in the circuit. You want to care to talk about that traction zone, because I'm pretty sure it's going to catch out a lot of people in the race today.
Yeah, it definitely is one of the hardest ones to manage with these new cars. And yeah, it's the one that catches you. You could see like Duke, he got a bit of his rear was a bit unstable. He tried to counter steer, but that counters. And is that a track? I'm not sure what happened to Charles John there, but I'm pretty sure that's a how do I say this? Report incoming for Charles John. Yeah, impeding track limit. Yeah.
I don't think he's made a stop. He switched tires after.
He's low on fuel.
Okay.
There's BK going for a short little spin, a pirouette. if you will, out of the turn 2 exit, which is quite understandable. There's that bump on the apex, which does unsettle the car quite a bit.
Nah, he's
But
just curious to try out the other track layouts of Paul Ricard. There's so many
Yeah,
there.
true,
So
true.
many roads going everywhere. You're just like, oh, maybe this would be a
Yeah.
bit more fun.
maybe I
should
can
try
gain
that.
some lap time if I take this corner.
Nah, they should have a Joker lap at Paul Ricard if you have to take the extra long layout one lap and you have to change something for next one.
Yeah.
Can we
Indeed.
actually see? Will we actually see someone actually skip turn 8 and just go straight on towards turn 10? They're like, no, I like this format better.
Still ACC in their blood, it seems, because the GT3 cars, as far as I know, they completely ignore the chicane and just go straight on. So hopefully we don't see a repeat of that in today's race. That'll be quite chaotic. But yeah, AJ there, purple sector 2 did pop up momentarily, but it did go away instantly, showing up there for a split second. But yeah, it does seem to be that he's on a decent lap. We go on board and see what all lines he takes through this very, very not quite technical, but very weird sector 3, if you will. A lot of different lines you can experiment with through here. As he's taking a wider exit for this last corner, sort of cut back line, late apex, just clip it there, and light braking on the hairpin, and completely misses his apex by a country mile there. But yeah, he's low in ERS as well. Maybe he's just doing some practice runs, and 1.4 seconds off the pace is not quite where you'd expect him to be right now.
Yeah, I mean, you could see even when he was approaching turn 12, he wasn't hugging the apex enough to get a proper exit at the corner. It just feels like he's just testing the limits of his car. And again, that's not a bad lap time, but I'm pretty sure AJ has a lot of speed in him.
I think he's starting his lap.
Yeah.
I think Heisenberg was on board a lap. Could we just quickly go on board him and see how he's faring? He's coming across sector 2 split, waiting for the telemetry on our end to update. Hasn't quite done so yet. There we go. 53.8 in the second split. We don't quite know. Yeah, he's 6/10 off P1 there. Coming to sector 2. Sorry, sector 3 now. Again, braking lightly there, using the car. Sort of rotate the car with the brakes there.
Face crack just got purple sector 1, if I'm not wrong. And he's on for a lap. Okay, but we see Heisenberg's just finishing this one. I'm pretty sure that's going to put him up in P8, if I'm not wrong.
Let's have a look as he barrels down the back straight. Puts in P5. Quite a decent lap there from the Ferrari driver. Sort of finding the grips with his wheel there. And it's a good sign. Good sign of things to come.
Wait, have you guys still not wondered what this guy is doing over here? He's completely out of fuel and he's just doing laps on the track casually.
How is he out of fuel and still going 200 kilometers an hour? Like, that doesn't make
sense. Is he actually out of fuel? I'm not quite sure.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he is out of fuel. That it's not that fuel icon is not blinking anymore. It's just on like that.
Well, he's certainly trying to lay some rubber down for these other drivers, it seems, and really helping everyone else. But going on board, Facecrack has cut the gap to P1 by a tenth and a bit, or less than a tenth rather. 1.78 tenths behind our Shawshank, though blitzing sector 1. Itzel, take us on board this lap.
Yep, heading down the straight, braking just at the end of the curb for the chicane. Important traction zone here on this current game because the curb on the exit here can unsettle the car slightly as he barreled down this straight, which should be continuous actually in my opinion. The chicane just ruins the flow. The whole point of the same corner here is to minimize the amount of lock that you're putting. But turn 11 now is a long banked right-hander off camber as well, so the exit traction is very, very tricky. The beginning of sector 3, it's all about making sure you stay within track limits, but the irony of this game is such that you have to exceed it as much as possible without invalidating. Final few corners now, very, very important braking zones. Easy to lock up your car here coming through the final corner as well, as we've seen on previous occasions, but that was negotiated beautifully by Shawshank, who's purple in sector 1, up on his personal best in sector 2 as someone else has set the purple in sector 2. He comes across the line and yeah, that was bound to happen. He's improved by about 3 tenths on his current lap.
Yeah, very tidy lap from the Ferrari there, and again, not quite pushing the limits from what I could see, but yeah, just waiting for that last bit of track evolution. And Sager there with the purple sector 2, don't know if that's legitimate or not, but his car is on a knife edge through that penultimate corner. If you just saw that, he sort of used the oversteer to get a better line into the hairpin, which is very interesting there. And he goes P2 with a just 4 tenths behind Shawshank, so a pretty tiny lap from the Red Bull there.
Yeah, it's getting very close between Sager and Facecrack right now. Both of them are so close to each other in terms of the lap times, and now it's just gonna pile up to what is happening with the Alfa Romeo. Is
I
this a
think we need
meme?
to tell. Someone needs to tell him that he needs to enter the pits. Yeah, he's just exploring the countryside. I don't blame him. Quite a nice, quite some
that's
nice
the pit
country
mate.
on the
That's the
right
pit
there.
mate.
Some
That's
hills.
the.
Okay. At least he's got the decency to let the cars past him, even though he's taking the pit lane entry from a completely wrong approach there. And yeah, he finally decides to come in after laying down some good rubber for all these other drivers there. And yeah, let's have a look at see what AJ does on his flying lap now.
All right, yeah, I see the telemetry is a bit screwed up, but again, AJ, one amazing competitor. Again, Sector 1 is all about picking the car in the proper way and getting the rotation into those two corners there. And we can see AJ trying to use most of the track, misses the apex there, but again, gets a decent exit out of that corner.
First purple, still 3 tenths behind though.
Yep. 3 tenths behind. I'm not sure how that was purple. I think that's a breach with the game. Regardless, AJ is still moving forward with regards to his pace. He's currently on the Nissan straight and has to hit the apex properly. I think he did hit the apex properly. He got a very good exit out of the corner and now heads down to the Signet.
It's also interesting to note that while we're on board with AJ here and he's going on what appears to be one of his final few hot laps, he is on a fresh set of tires, but he's come out significantly farther ahead of everyone else. Obviously, he's in the middle of his hot lap with 3 minutes remaining when everybody else is just, diving out of the pits right now, leaving it as late as possible. So a little bit of a miscalculation from AJ there. Maybe he expected to dive into the pits again and come out on one final lap. He probably has another set of softs available to him, but
I thought that was an invalidation for some reason.
But he's using all of the track and more, but that's the curb you don't want to touch on the way in. And he's probably bled a lot of time in this lap through that corner. Coming across the line, goes P11, does not improve for his personal best as well. So very sector 3 there.
What's happened with BK19 there?
Oh no.
Can we look at Facecrack?
Does Facecrack just lying there? Is his car DNF'd?
Can we look at Facecrack?
Go on with the McLaren into turn 1, I think.
He's damaged. He's got damage. Facecrack has damage. No. Okay, he doesn't. I guess
he doesn't
BK
have
has
damage, and he's gonna wait. I think he was trying to let BK through, and sort of they collided. Maybe I'm not sure.
BK just got destroyed with that five place grid penalty.
Yep,
that won't help BK at all. I mean, he's not going to lose many positions. But was it a 5-place grid penalty for Facecrack, or was it? It was for BK.
No, it was BK. It was for BK. Yeah.
So the only assumption we can come to is that there was some sort of contact between BK and Facecrack that was initiated by BK. But we'll have a further look at that.
Shawshank's still not gone out yet.
Have a look at that.
Has Shawshank decided that he doesn't need another lap?
Yeah, I think Shawshank's gonna do
he's
a
just
max.
gone out now.
Okay. Yeah, I thought he's probably gonna do a max of Verstappen, Sebastian, but see, enjoy.
Oh no!
What the
And that
hell?
is, folks, why the pit lane exit on this circuit is so dangerous.
The thing is,
but
drivers now who have had done that as a result, do they now go on another hot lap? Surely, if they just cut every single corner, they can make it.
Oh my God!
Heisenberg got impeded there by John. Shawshank has done a mistake. He's out on 2-lap old softs. He's forgot to change his tires. A rookie mistake, if you will, but Yeah.
I think Charles John is doing this on purpose. He's actually impeding everyone at this stage.
Yeah, it seems he doesn't have a clue as to what qualifying is supposed to be. Maybe he's just
Let's take a look at
confused.
this.
He's got
Oh
spirit, but
my
he's
god.
confused as he's impeded another driver again.
I think this might be a classic case of a really bad desync or something, because I'm
Oh
sure
yeah, could be.
no person within their right mind, within their sane mind, would do this unless they were just being an absolute troll, in which case they'll be dealt with
Yeah.
afterwards. But then I really do want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I do think it's just some really bad desync, or he's disconnected or something wrong. You know, we've had this happen in the past, so I definitely wouldn't put it past this
Right,
really
so
dumb kid.
sorry, just to confirm, Shawshank has completed. Well, he can't really put up another quali lap, so it's just up to Sajan and Facetrack to get most out of this. We still have a few other drivers in contention for pole, but again, these two are the ones looking to contend for pole.
So he
And
just
Sage
got
is gonna,
purple.
yep, Sage went purple again. He had
Oh
a
my
terrible sector
Oh
one.
my
Ay,
god.
ay, ay.
This is really not a good display of on-track behavior from these guys because there's a lot of impeding going on. But we push on nonetheless as Saja approaches the last corner, trailing nicely, sort of getting sacrificing his minimum speed for the exit there, and gets a nice slingshot one out of the last corner. Puts him P2, a tenth and a bit behind Shawshank. A very good improvement, and possibly could have beaten if it weren't for that Haas. Maybe sort of swayed him a bit away a bit. What do you think, lads?
Yeah, I mean, it's not great to see another driver sort of go off the track and come onto the track on your racing line. So yeah, I think that did hit Sazer's lap a bit, and maybe that was what cost him pole there.
It's funny. It's funny because you see that his lap has been costed by that Haas, but he was up on his personal best through sector 3 regardless. So how slow was that previous lap that he's up on his personal best even after being almost punted aside by by Haas rejoining the track. But yeah, a lot of time. Even in sector 1, he had a lot of time. It seemed like, because he was down on his own personal best. So maybe what could have been for Sajan.
Indeed.
Definitely.
Yeah, that rounds off qualifying for today. Quite an eventful session in a way. A few grid penalties here and there, but Shawshank again, another pole. I think that's what 4 pole positions in a row for him, maybe 5 rather. I'm not quite sure.
Can we take a look at the penalty that for BK? Just confirm if it's a BK or if it's for face crack.
Yeah, could we go to incidents? Yeah.
The penalty, it's for BK. Okay, it's collision with face crack. Okay, fine. But it looked like BK hit face crack, because as far as I remember, I saw BK's front wing damage. So it feels like maybe you're right. Maybe it's a face crack that wanted to give him way, but there was a bit of a mess and there was a collision involved where BK lost his wing because of it.
Yep. And that rounds of qualifying. Shawshank with another not so dominant pole. Sager close behind in P2, and I think that was face crack in P3, but he does have a grid penalty, so coming his way. So he's going to start further down the grid. Oh, and as we head on to the race, it's sort of overcast as we mentioned. So a differentiation in strategy as opposed to the optimum one, which we see hards to mediums. Maybe the hards might be too no pun intended, too hard to heat up right now in these conditions. What do you think?
Yeah, it's gonna be hungry Ferrari strategy call if you go on the hard right now. It still hurts. Yeah, what about you, Itzel? What do you think about those hearts on in these conditions?
I think I would say the opposite of what you guys. I think if you were to use a little bit higher pressures, you might be able to get them faster into the window, and then because of the colder temps, you can keep them in that window much easier than what you would in sort of hotter track temps. I think that's something crucial to take. I think the hards will be able to last a lot longer in slightly cooler temps, and that might play into the strategy a bit. Might be wrong, but only time will tell as we near the race start.
Did someone ready up way too quickly? Because yeah,
Yeah.
apparently it's in 15 seconds.
My bad is that it was Charles John who did that.
Yep,
Ah,
true. It's,
this is going to be an interesting afternoon of racing.
Indeed. Uh, yeah, some people are not happy with Charles in the respective tier channels, and
That's not looking good for him. But 5 lights are underway. No formation lap, and we're underway as Shawshank gets a good start. Short shifting in the exit there to get a better launch of the line. Could we go on with the tires and see what tires each driver is on? Shawshank leads by quite a ways away. Facecrack follows closely behind. 2 tenths, 3 tenths now, and Monk, one of the sole medium runners there in P3. Drivers dropping. Oh, what's going on there?
I think was it the Haas that hit the Aston Martin off? I'm not sure.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it was not AJ who's been caught up in a lot of incidents recently, and that's just going to add to his points tally, penalty points tally rather, if he does get penalized for it. But he's looking ever so confident in this one with the medium tire on, getting them up to temperature, firing them up quickly, more quick than the Red Bull of Sager, who's had a miserable start. He's found himself in P8 after qualifying P2 and
Okay, right. What I saw is essentially
went from bad to worse there for Sager on the race start, right as you mentioned it.
Yeah, as far as I could see, Sager cut across existence a bit, and just because of that sheer contact model that we have, both of them got screwed over because of that.
yeah, they just got glued to each other. I think the esports drivers call it the demon drag or something, where you just get glued to each other and you're just a passenger. But yeah, going on board now, Ritesh there, it's quite confident nailing sector 3 there, coming around the last hairpin, getting a decent exit, but all eyes are on Monk right now, who's on the softer compound, and he's going to be in the hot seat to chase down the leaders right now.
Yeah, definitely, and you can see AJ as well going for those amazing moves because those leading compounds have switched fast right now compared to those hard tires. But yeah, it seems like a lot of people agreed with your strategy there, Itzel. A lot of people have gone on to the hards. A lot of people are hoping that they'll turn up quite quickly and last a long time with these overcast conditions. And yeah, let's see how that strategy call helps them in the end.
I think, yeah, absolutely. And also interesting to know that both the Astons have got terrible starts respectively. Shrey was involved with some contact at the beginning at turn 1, and then BK19 at some point during lap 1 has picked up some wing damage. So now they both find themselves at the back of the field after just 2 laps of racing. So it's a long race ahead, but it's going to be a proper comeback drive of attrition for both Aston Martin drivers. But BK is on the mediums, so there is possibility there for BK to catch up in the field.
AJ's got the move on the McLaren using medium tires. He's got the move done, but the McLaren following ever so closely there. Interesting to note, Shawshank's already pulled up a 1 second lead, so he's out of DRS for the time being, which is ever so crucial on this racetrack because that long straight you have, so you can just gain a lot of time, just cling on to the leader or the driver in front of you. Using DRS as your sole lifeline there, sort of nullifying the pace deficit you may have. But Monk there looking ever so close to the back of Facecrack and using the softer compound, trying to get a switchback line, gets a bit too loosey-goosey on the exit there and has to rephase himself and re-prepare himself for maybe a move down the chicane.
Yeah, as you mentioned, DRS won't be active for Facecrack, so Monk will have DRS, Monk will have those beautiful medium tires. He's gonna get ready to go for an overtake, and looks to be like he lost some time there, but again, that DRS would be extremely helpful to Monk at this stage.
He's using ERS. All his ERS as well. So Monk has a huge amount of a huge surplus in the tank. More juice available for him, and he's got for the move around the outside. The Merc looking in the back, looking ever so feisty to get the to pick up on the proceedings as well. Trying to get into the slipstream, sort of get out as well. Trying to break free of the dirty air. Maybe using his ERS, try and see him send some move down the inside here, and can't quite get the move done. But but Monk on the fresher and the softer tires gets past it's like that.
Yeah, and people are not saving their ERS at all. I understand the region is quite good here at France, but my god, people are still using a lot in the first 3 laps.
Yeah, indeed. The driver is getting caught out by the dirty air, which is quite bad in the circuit, especially sector 1. Just before that, the exit onto the main straight, it's just
you lose up to 2 to 3 tenths if you're in equal tires and sort of equal pace. If you're going behind a car in front of you, following you very closely, that's how bad the dirty air is. But these drivers just finding it ever so hard to get moves done around a circuit like France, which is surprising.
Yeah, that was extremely close between the Mercedes and Facecrack. It almost looked like there was probably some form of contact there, but yeah, no contact for these two drivers. I think Arjun Senapati knows that Facecrack is whoa,
Well
what is
held.
happening there?
Maybe a bit of desync, but it looked like a very good save to me, and he's used that to his advantage. And is the AlphaTauri getting very aggressive there? That's what you'd like to see. Sort of defending. I think he's lagging a bit. Quite a bit actually. He just teleported back there, sort of slowly glitching his way through. But this little kerfuffle has caused the Alpine of Ritesh just closing all the more, and then AJ expurging more and more ERS, trying to make sure his medium tires don't go to waste this early on in the race right now.
Yeah, definitely. And while we're seeing this amazing battle in the midfield, just want to let you all know Shawshank is completely gone off to Narnia in 3 seconds and with a 3-second gap. So Shawshank is looking to dominate here right now in France.
Oh yeah, he's just sent it, and yeah, he's opened up 3.5 seconds within 4 laps, which is pretty insane actually. But as we try to take a breather through this action-packed start, the moves are just going to start kicking in now, folks, as these drivers are just trying to manage their ERS right now. It's usually after the pit stops with the tire warm-up phase where we see a lot of action, a lot of carnage. So just hang on, as so do these drivers to their respective DRS trains in front of them, trying to get a move done. But as things cool down here, let's have a little chat as you can see Ritesh just getting so close to Facecrack. Facecrack just not have the car under him whatsoever in the race right now. He's just squirming on the exit there, and luckily maybe he's got more straight line. He's got a lot more rear wing. I think that's the issue. He's just pulled away, has Facecrack. So Ritesh has put on a bunch of downforce, and Facecrack has opted to chuck all of that out the window for straight line speed. So pretty intuitive that we can see some setup differences taking part here right now.
Yeah, there's a bit of a gap forming though now between the likes of Rishi and Duke in P9 and 10 and the rest of the pack. I would say everybody from Heisenberg upwards is separated by just over 3 seconds. So that is the main battle in the mid pack to watch out for as AJ tries to go side by side with Ritesh there.
Yeah, I mean, AJ,
Ritesh having a crack at the AlphaTauri. The AlphaTauri looking very nervy as Ritesh, I think he's gone to the pits. No, he's been caught offline. He's gone to the dirty part of the track, and he's got no grip on that side. So he's just gone off wide there, and as a result of that, he's lost a position to the McLaren behind him. So not quite the right decision he made there to go that wide, because if you go that wide there in that part of the circuit, it's offline and there's not much grip available to you there.
And
yeah,
and now Facecrack is all over the back of AJ is all over the back of Facecrack and gets an amazing move down the inside towards turns 3 and 4, and there was nothing Facecrack can do. Apparently that setup that he has is not working well enough for Facecrack right here, and Arjun Senapati is right now hunting down Monk as of this moment. So we can see that the hard tires have rightfully switched on for these drivers. Ooh, and Helium almost gets a move on Facecrack, and Facecrack outbreaks Helium.
Yeah, like quite a bit rather.
Damn, yeah, that was a pretty good defense, but Facecrack again losing a lot of time in those corners. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Facecrack, the only reason Facecrack still got that move or got that defense completed is because of his sheer straight line speed he has on that one straight.
Indeed, and again, maybe he's opted for a too low of a downforce setup, and his rear tires are just kicking up that much more wheel spin, and his tires is wearing out that much faster. Not quite able to get the necessary exits as well, especially onto the Mistral straight there, which is ever so crucial if you want to be in contention of overtaking another car in front of you. So Yeah, a bit of a setup ideology difference there we can see at play, but further ahead, it seems Arjun has got a good amount of pace as Seja gets the move done on his teammate there. And yeah, he's surely gonna make his way through the grid right now as Charles picks up a 3-second time penalty. So yeah, not
Can
quite testing the waters of the track limits there maybe, but Arjun has got the move done on the McLaren. I
Oh,
was going to say, but he spun out as the McLaren of Monk. So we do not have an inkling as to what happened there. Maybe a bit of contact involved.
oh my God, these two are actually going hard on each other. The racing very close to each other. You could see that Willie almost Willie Sam almost just basically pushed Face Crack or tried to squeeze him down at that Nissan straight. But yeah, again, Face Crack getting closer to Vilak. Vilixam,
Velixum, I
and
think Velixum is the way to say it. I think Velixum is the right way to say it.
Vilixam, yeah, exactly. And as you can see, Facepack did have a chance down towards turn 12. But again, the line that Vilixam chose ended up just cutting any challenge off from
Oh,
the Afghani
Existence is
driver.
retired at some point. Not quite sure where that's happened. Maybe we might have a
Let's
look.
see.
I think he's lost it through turn. I think he's lost it at Charles Leclerc corner. Or just after it? Where is Existence's car? It was somewhere here. It's been cleared off track,
Yeah,
but
it's been cleared up.
Existence has retired and it hasn't brought out a safety car. So, and there goes, there goes. That was another Red Bull. I think that's
Duke.
That's Duke struggling with some really, really hot tires right now. I think he had a little spin earlier in the lap as well. So those tires, they need to cool down a bit. And he spun right past the pit lane as well. So he can't dive in for new tires either. Although it would be smarter to stay on the hard tires at this point and just try to nurse them back into the right window.
Yeah, definitely. And just one more thing I noticed, our two championship contenders. It's very good to be Shawshank today, because again, Fendi and Montero are both missing from this race. So against Shawshank is basically going to build up another huge gap on his championship lead today.
Yeah. And he's building a huge gap over P2 as well right now, 4.6 seconds. It is coming down actually quite slightly. So maybe Arjun might have enough pace to sort of claw his way back at him in the second stint. Or maybe there could be a safety car which could put them two within the fighting chance of each other. A lot of things yet to play as Heisenberg has found his footing in the race here and showing his dominant race pace and just 5 tenths behind the Alpine of Ritesh there, who's in P6.
Yeah, that is definitely an amazing pace that Heisenberg is showing. He was quite a few seconds off the midfielders. I think 2 seconds off, and now he's 5 tenths behind, 4 tenths behind. That's pretty good. And here we see Rishi and Monk both the medium runners fighting on for P8 as at this stage, and both of them have respective penalties attached to their cars. And again, you can just see Monk is trying his best to how do I say this, nurse those cars to the end. And now Rishi will have TRS. So let's see if Monk can defend against it. But Rishi has so much straight line speed. He's already got the move completed before the turn. That is completely that setup. I want to know what that setup is.
Yeah, that car is a rocket ship straight. He's pulled away even more now. He's gone. He's just gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Viluxum is disconnected, I think. Oh, that's a shame.
That's an easy move for Faceback. Probably one of the few moves Faceback is gonna make.
But yeah, as we wait for the McLaren to sort of reconnect back, Heisenberg again ever so close behind Ritesh, the Alpine there. Actually, he's dropped back a little bit. He's 8 tenths behind now, so he's sort of lost a bit of time. But again, as long as you're in the DRS and you can save your battery, which he is right now, he's got 70% of it. As long as you can do that, it'll be really beneficial for you in the latter stages of the race. So, yeah.
I think what we might start seeing is AJ slow down a bit, because I think those medium tires stint, I think AJ's probably exceeded that medium tire stint at this stage, and probably he'll have to trade in a few laps or so. And as I was speaking, we also saw Shawshank get another fastest lap, so those hard tires are going to be switched on. And now we see Face Crack just getting a really bad exit at the traction zone. And here's Ritesh all over his back now. We'll have DRS as well.
Yellow flag though in sector 2. He's gonna have to get that position back.
No.
Yeah, he's giving it back. Not yet.
No.
They're still going side by side, and Heisenberg's now sniffing at an opportunity to go up down the inside of the AlphaTauri in front of him as well. But again, maybe the yellow flags did sort of stop him there, and he just hung back for a while longer.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening here, because as per our standings, we can see Ritesh having P4, but Ritesh is currently in P3. Oh no, wait, no. That's Ritesh is in P4 and Face Crack is in P4. Sorry, that was my mistake. But yeah, you can see Heisenberg just like the pace he has compared to Face Crack. Face Crack is not in control of his car today, and you can see in the corners every single time people have to lift off it. And as we can see, Heisenberg has DRS, and again, even with DRS, Face Crack can't do anything at this corner. Or did Face Crack let Heisenberg by? I'm not sure what happened there, but Face Crack completely loses that position to Heisenberg.
Indeed, but further ahead, Shawshank setting yet another fast lap. A 34 as well, which is quite quick in terms of race pace there. So yeah, another really good display of racecraft and tyre management from Ferrari there, but things are heating up further down the grid as we probably going to see the pit stops, first round of pit stops coming from the medium runners as
that move.
That's ABD going around the outside, though I think Charles sort of led him through.
Regardless, that was still a ballsy move from ABD there, and probably
one
of the best I've seen.
One for the cameras, certainly, but Face Crack again, proving my point, is hanging on to the rear of Heisenberg with that DRS, and that's just going to make and break your race in France. Was a circuit where it's literally impossible to save ERS and not push at the same time. So,
can we actually? I'm sorry, but can we actually take a look at Heisenberg's tires and compare it with Face Crack's tires? Because I think Face Crack has a lot more tire wear on his car. You can see that his car, when you see the telemetry, the tire wear is higher than that of his surroundings. So that's probably why he's facing so much finish. And we see our first
AJ is coming to the pit
stop. Yeah, AJ is definitely coming on to put those hard tires on. Probably decided to go for the conservative strategy and put on those hards quickly so that he doesn't lose as much space as compared to the guys behind him. Although I will say AJ was doing his best to hold his own with those medium tires, but decided just to pit. And we see now Heisenberg all over the back of Ritesh, and again Ritesh won't have. And Heisenberg goes wide,
using all the track and more there on the limit of traction.
But now he's gonna have to defend against Face Crack at this stage. But still,
no, I think Face Crack's dropped out of DRS. He's 1.2 behind now. He's probably made a mistake.
Right. Oh I barely noticed that. Yeah, but Face Crack is now out of contention for at least those 3 positions, and now Monk will have to catch up to Face Crack. But again, Heisenberg. Actually, if Heisenberg can get P3, it's gonna be one of the. Oh, that was extremely close.
He's going to send it down the inside. No, chooses to hang back. This battle is certainly heating up right now in front of our eyes, folks. Do hang on, because Heisenberg certainly is to the back of the Alpine in front of him, as he's just scavenging for the lines to take and trying to get a switchback exit on Ritesh, who is certainly evidently struggling on the tires and scrubbing maybe a bit too much. As the Ferrari sort of gets a slingshot exit, he's got the juice in the tank and he's going to explode it right now. And that's a very, very well planned overtake from the Ferrari driver there. Into the podium.
Yeah, definitely into the podium. An amazing result for Ferrari here today if they can maintain these positions. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I agree with Heisenberg here. Going for the move right now is important because he's got a lot more pace compared to Ritesh in the corners, so he can definitely pull away in the next few corners.
But
But
Ritesh is
Ritesh seems
hanging
to
on
be,
to him like
yeah,
he is stuck to the back of him. And yeah, 3 tenths gap through that corner is surely an
yeah, an
easy
overtake.
overtake at the end of the straight right now.
Yeah, definitely. Ritesh has
Yeah.
got the pace. He's got DRS. He's going to choose the outside line, but he's cleared off the Ferrari way before. Oh, and the Ferrari
Oh
still
no.
fighting. Oh, and okay, that was close between the Ferrari, but I think Heisenberg definitely did the right thing there. Oh, but he's got a better exit than Ritesh, and he's going to go for a move around the outside into.
We're going side by
second
side into scene. And
Ooh.
Ritesh sort of hanging on to his dear life there. As Heisenberg's got a huge pace advantage in the Alpine in front, but just can't quite break out of the slipstream, out of the DRS zone, which is allowing the Alpine just to come back at him in the next lap.
Yeah, definitely. I think these two boys are entertaining us a lot. Whoa. Heisenberg breaking way later than I expected, but getting subtly close. You can see Heisenberg, the confidence he has today. He's just waking is perfect right now.
Ritesh taking to some extreme swerving tactics, trying to get rid of the slipstream there, but it's proving very futile as Heisenberg just closes up to his rear diffuser yet again. This battle is far from over, folks. Aitzen, what are your thoughts on this? As he's definitely never mind. Half, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, this is probably this is what we should have seen in France, this year. But my God, it's getting spicy between these two. I feel like there's a lot between these two guys right now with regards to how they're racing against each other. It feels like there's history involved here. But again, Heisenberg getting a lot too far back to go for a move right now, but getting closer with DRS. I wonder if he's going to pull up something similar. Again, Heisenberg's setup allows him to break extremely late here, and he has the confidence to pull back into the slipstream of that Alpine.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's going out of the blue, what do you call, off-track Astro maybe over there, or it's some sort of what do you call, abrasive off-track patch. I'm not quite sure, but it does slow the car down on the game, so you can't quite go over it. You will bottom out in a way, and you can scrub some straight line speed. So a good tip here, folks, if you're trying to defend, make sure you can sort of force them onto that blue part, so they might just lose some straight line speed there and get an easy overtake done. But yeah, again, Heisenberg sector 3 is where the Ferrari has got a huge pace advantage on the Alpine in front. And it's certainly coming into fruition as he's got the huge amount of overspeed on the Alpine. They're going side by side in turns 1 and 2. Ooh, very close but very clean racing there from these two drivers here.
Yeah, and there goes Shawshank is gone. Shawshank is spun. Is he on the right side out now? And Arjun City is gone.
Oh, he's lost the position as well.
Wow, this is a Charles Leclerc moment here.
The
in
fight is
France.
back on, yeah.
My God. Okay, and yeah, those tires, the fronts are completely gone on the hard tires now. And Arjun Senapati is up in P1. This is amazing.
I didn't want to mention it earlier at the risk of maybe running a commentator's curse. I didn't want to mention it earlier, but we've seen this with Shawshank before, where he's been in a dominant position. Even at Singapore, when we had the person in I think I've forgotten his name conveniently, but he was in P2. The Mercedes was fighting with Shawshank at the front, and he spun. And Shawshank was pretty much in the clear, and then he spun at the final corner under no pressure whatsoever. So he's had this running streak of just losing the car in pivotal positions, and he's done it again, but it's not as big a problem this time because he's only lost one position.
You've done it again.
I'm so sorry. 5-second penalty, Shawshank got a 5-second penalty.
I will not have mentioned that.
I will stop talking.
Oh no,
Oh
he spit for the medium tires, but yeah, that's not what you want, and that's certainly, if there's no safety car, that certainly is 5 seconds are going to make
Can Heisenberg actually get a jump on the Alpine driver in the pits? I'm pretty
Let's have a
sure.
look.
Wait,
Oh
no,
no,
no, no,
Ritesh
no.
has stayed out.
Ritesh has stayed out apparently, yeah,
Oh,
but
so he's
Ritesh
Heisenberg's
going for
gone
the
for the
overcut.
undercut, and this is where the tire warmer phase has now begun, folks. This is where that's going to come into clutch. Those mediums are going to heat up. I mean, they're going to heat up quicker than the hard tires would, but with these conditions, it's going to be ever so treacherous. But some drivers who have gone for the undercut, P4 is Shawshank following ever so closely behind, and AJ who made a massive undercut on these runners before. He was probably lapping a second a lap faster than the fresher hards, who's got fresher and up to temperature tires right now, might have something to say to these two drivers in front of him right now.
Yeah, definitely. AJ, when he pit, he was in P3, but he was far away from the leaders or the first two drivers. But yeah, again, now back in contention here, AJ, with those hard tires on. And again, we've seen hard tires actually compete, but it all depends on how quickly Arjun, Senapati, and Shawshank can heat up those medium tires. And I think those tires are heated up at this stage. And they're starting to pull away from AJ. So this is
Nice
something we
shot there.
expected. And this is something we expected from these medium tires at this stage of the race to start pulling away massively. And here comes Nitesh into the pits, but we'll notice if Heisenberg has got the overcut on Nitesh or not. I'm pretty
Undercut,
sure he
rather.
would undercut. Sorry, yes, undercut
Yeah.
on Nitesh or not.
Yep,
Yeah, but
it's
I'm.
going to be soon. Even if he has, Ritesh will have colder tires, so.
Oh
he's
my
soon
God!
gonna
Look
lose
at
out from
the.
that. He's gone to
look at the-
P4 now. Heisenberg is just rounding off the final corner in a bit. Say the Alpine might keep the position actually.
Yeah,
It's going to
I
be
think
close.
so.
As he's barreling down the back straight, having a
Oh
huge
yeah,
overspeed.
the Alpine.
He's
the
not made
overcut
the
work.
undercut work. Yeah, Heisenberg has not made the undercut work.
Yeah, but now again he'll have some good tires to catch up
Yeah,
to
he'll
Ritesh. But
have
again,
heated up tires right now.
yeah, but one more thing I just noticed, Arjun Senapati has no ERS left, but Shawshank has a lot to offer here. So we'll probably see Shawshank go for a move, and he has on the inside. And he's going side to side into turn 13. Sorry, not 13, but yeah, turn 7, if I'm not wrong. But again, that's a move that was pretty easy because, again, Arjun Senapati, I'm not sure how he lost so much ERS, but he's used a lot of his ERS just to compete here. And again, Seizure getting close to face crash. Right there. Yeah, but I'm actually very surprised to see Seizure back in the fight with face crash
Yeah.
at P6 after what happened in Lapan essentially.
Yeah, and important to note that Shawshank saw the move done on the mark, but more importantly, Heisenberg was within DRS. Now, yeah, he's back within DRS. Now he's back out of DRS from Ritesh. So not quite able to get the cap down below 1 second, which is ever so crucial on this circuit. As Shawshank does a 33.9, absolutely flying on those medium tires right now.
You just note that Arjun Senapati also has a penalty now, so it's getting easier for Shawshank to. It's getting easier for Shawshank to actually get this win, because I don't think AJ is one of those drivers that will challenge Shawshank for the win today because of those hard tires on right now.
Yeah.
It's any views, any commentator skills that you want to apply on anyone else?
No, I'm just keeping calm for now. I'm just letting this race roll out. The last thing I'd want to do is jeopardize anybody else right now. The order seems to have settled down a bit. Few gaps opening up here and there, but yeah, just let this race run through and see what happens, because we're coming to that phase now where it gets to the throw the kitchen sink time, and people will be pulling out those audacious moves from very far back.
That we want to see. Some of them are extremely audacious, but quite fair in a certain aspect, and some of them are just blatant, dive bombs out of nowhere. But again, those are the moments we're here for. Let's see if we can find one. Again, I think one of the people I want to keep my eyes on right now is Heisenberg, Seizure, and I believe AJ to a certain extent, because AJ is still holding on to those medium runners there. Somehow still being competitive on those hards, and I think by the end of this race, AJ will still have that P3 as his position by the end of the race. He'll be on the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. Things are cooling down here. I say that, okay, but a DRS train of, what is that, 4 people, starting with Ritesh being at the front of it. So yeah, he will have to be doing some ERS management right now, whereas these drivers behind him can choose to just relax a little while, just a touch, and just replenish their batteries, get the juices back up, and probably expand it when the time is needed to. So we're coming on to the last 7 laps of the race. ERS levels are sort of stagnating right now for these guys. Seja has a lot in the tank, and he's choosing to use it right now, and he's flying by the AlphaTauri. It's not even a contest with that amount of ERS and DRS and slipstream there, all 3 available to his disposal, and gets the move done with these. Face crack picks up another 3 seconds, I think. The second one.
Yeah, that's correct. Face crack getting 1 more penalty. That's not helping his race at all. As we'll see, probably
Lovely shot.
yeah, these shots in this new game are definitely great. But yeah, as we'll probably see the McLaren catch up to Face crack pretty soon, and hopefully go for an overtake on Face crack. Sector 3. What's happening? Sector 3.
No.
Who is it? Face crack. Okay, Face crack's probably spun. Again, commentators curse here. But yeah, I don't feel bad about that one.
Okay then. Heading on board the Red Bull now, just caught up to Heisenberg, who's dropped back from the Alpine in front, which means he does not have DRS right now. No, he's gotten back with him, so maybe he just clung on to the last 1000th, maybe it was, to get DRS off the Alpine there. But yeah, he's used a lot of his DRS. Could we go on with the Alpine and see how much he has in the tank? 32, yeah. So Heisenberg not quite managing his ERS very well here, and Seja has a lot more in the tank than the Ferrari in front, so that could come into clutch, and he certainly got the pace advantage from the looks of it as well.
Yeah, I think as you rightly mentioned a while back, Moto, the Ferrari tends to have a lot of pace at the last sector. That's when he's able to catch up with the cars in front. But it's the first 2 sectors where Heisenberg is struggling a lot compared to the other drivers here. And now with Seja involved in this fight, I'm pretty sure Heisenberg and Ritesh will be happy about this, because he's going to build up a gap right now. But again, we see Seja using some of his ERS right now. He's got a better launch down towards Signet, and again, is a bit far back, but I'm pretty sure we'll see an audacious move come from Seja in a lap or 2.
Yeah, absolutely. He seems to have a huge pace advantage in the car in front of him. He can follow him through any line he wants to. That's how much confidence he has in the car under him. As Seja there, he's choosing to take a wider line, trying to get a slingshot exit out of here, and he does so. Capped out to 4 in a pit 10s now, back up because of the wheel spin on the exit, but yeah.
Again, you can see Heisenberg just catching up that Alpine in the last sector, and that's where everyone's meeting.
It's crucial that he has that pace in the last sector, because that's just giving him DRS on the back straight, which is allowing him to just stay in front of Seja now. But now I think he's lost DRS off the Alpine, or maybe he's got it back. I think he just got it. Yeah, we'll have a look right now, but Seja is really close to Heisenberg. Heisenberg has not got DRS. He's not got anything to use to his disposal there, and the rear flap remains closed, and the Red Bull speeds past him like he wasn't there.
Yeah, that's a pretty weird line for Seja's thing, but it's given him a great launch down to its signs, and again, Seja's getting closer and closer to Ritesh. So I think Ritesh's main competition at this stage is not Heisenberg, it's probably Seja, because Seja does a lot of pace. It's sad to see Heisenberg drop down, but it seems like that medium tire isn't working for Heisenberg at all.
Yeah, it's just not trying to. I think it's not biting, or maybe it's not heating up, or it's overheating rather. Could also be a good point, because he's just so quick in sector 3. Maybe he's burning out his tires in that sector and not having the right temperature at the start of his next lap. Do you think that could be a possibility with his car?
Yeah, definitely it could be a possibility, and nice for pointing that out. But yeah, again, Seja, I think Ritesh's setup is quite dominant in sector 1 and 2. I think sector 3 is where he's losing that much time because again you can see even with DRS people are unable to catch up to that Alpine. It's just the Alpine is a rocket ship, probably something like Alonso and Baku.
But again, Seja is not quite able to get the necessary exit he needs. Ritesh trying to break the toe. Yeah, and it does help him. Seja's only closed it a tenth and a bit there in that straight.
Sector 3, somebody spun again.
Base crack.
It's crack, okay.
Not having a good day, is he?
Right, yeah, again, not a good day for the Alpha Tauri. Alpha Tauri again. The Alpha Tauri again. He had a really good qualifying P3 and then lost it all in the race. That's why it's important to get a setup that is more race prone or race effective rather than quali effective. This is probably why you sort of tend to get a stable setup.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But yeah, things sort of equalize here. Sage is still stuck behind in the back of the Alpine. A bit of an Alonso-esque drive from the Ritesh here, from Ritesh, sort of holding up the cars behind him. Much quicker, I think. And yeah, a very good feat by the Alpine driver.
Yeah, definitely. I
Someone
mean,
in the chat is asking for the penalties. Dan, could we have a look at that?
Oh, and Sage is getting awfully close right now. I'm pretty sure Sage is going to go for a move down towards Misan Strait. Mistral Strait. And again, Sage is just 3/10 off the pace of Ritesh, even with the superior straight line speed that the Alpine has. He won't be able to stop.
There on the exit.
Yeah, he won't be able to stop that Red Bull coming in with that beautiful DRS open with DRS alongside going to Sage is going on the inside of turn 8. They're both fighting. They're still fighting towards turn 9, and Ritesh looks like he's gone in the position back again. That defense from Ritesh, unwavering.
Yeah.
Again, Shager gets a beautiful line down towards Science, but unable to make that move work because Ritesh is defending quite well. He's keeping his car placed at the right stages, but again, I feel like there's probably a defense that won't last for too long. As Sager is extremely close, probably will have some DRS benefit in the main straight. But again, we'll get more information as soon as we see how better of an exit can Sager get. Again, he's close enough to get a move done towards turn 1. Will we see that? Yes, I think we will, as Ritesh can't do anything about DRS and Sager is clearing that Alpine. And the Alpine can't do anything and Heisenberg's back in the fight.
He almost went for a move there, but Ritesh has got a beautiful exit out of turn 2. And he's challenging the Red Bull again for the position. But now what's important to note here is this is just allowing Heisenberg to just, rub his hands together and sniff up an opportunity to get past both these drivers who are just certainly holding both of them up.
Yeah, again, Ritesh with that superior straight line speed and the DRS will easily be able to pass Sager by the end of this straight.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, he's gotten off track for that. No.
What? Okay, I'm extremely confused by that move right there. Moto, can you please brief on what happened there?
Yeah, I have no clue why he chose to go on the outside there when there was a gap on the left. But yeah, that move is not legal and either. So I don't know how he's kept the position. But yeah, Sage is not happy about that. Certainly, he's almost gone for a send into that corner or in off-cambered corner. It's talking about in the Hotlap video. But yeah, Heisenberg is just getting ever so close, and Sage is certainly not happy with that move. He wants the position back.
Yeah, man just stole the Daniel Ricciardo line for the overtake. Yeah, again, I mean, how bad would it feel to be in Ritesh used to go for an audacious move, get a penalty, and then have to give that position back because he overtook on the outside? That's pretty wild of a judgment call from Ritesh there. But again, Sage. Oh! That is not good for Sage and Heisenberg up in
Heisenberg slips on through. Oh, out of all the bad luck he's had in the recent races, he finally gets a stroke of good luck, and he's scaled his way through that cleanly. Yeah, he's got scot free out of that incident, but yeah, heartbreak for the Alpine driver there, who I think just lost it on the curbing of turn 2. But
Heartbreak
yeah,
for the Alpine driver, more of a heartbreak for Stager since he has wing damage, as
oh
far as I
yeah,
saw.
yeah, he does. It's going to load up. Yep.
Yep, that's a fat grip for the Red Bull guy.
Rimbozo
Again,
indeed.
Willickson just getting a better exit, and Sage can't do anything to defend. I'm pretty sure Sage shouldn't even try to defend with that wing damage because that will just start to cause a lot of issues. And again, a mistake from Ritesh cost Sage a lot because he was right behind Ritesh and couldn't do anything to avoid that. Moto, can you take over, man? Oh, can you take over?
Yeah, sure. As this battle does continue on under the overcast skies of Paul Ricard, as Willickson gets a decent exit out of Sage's corner there. His lack of downforce is compounding to his misery there. And in Sector 3, where you do need a lot of it, as he just misses his braking point by a couple of meters there into the last corner. Falls back to P7, and yeah, not quite the end of the race. What Sage was hoping for, but Heisenberg again, ever so wise to keep out of that, and he's going to seal in a good P4, which is just a great drive from him. But he started quite a ways back, around P9 if I'm not wrong. But yeah, further up ahead, Shawshank is closed out a gap of 6 seconds, so that 5 seconds penalty is worthless to him because yeah, he's just got that huge buffer. And he can probably afford to get another 3 seconds and still pull away that gap. So.
But you are forgetting one thing. Arjun Senapati has 3 seconds worth of penalty, and AJ is currently within that 3-second buffer. So we might even see AJ get promoted to P2 here.
Oh yeah, and that can be interesting. Yeah.
This is the point where we've seen the hard medium tires start losing grip. So we'll probably see AJ get some more traction, maybe. But I'm not sure because those hards are really worn at this stage. Let's see what happens. Again, it's all up for AJ to grab right now. He can actually get that P2 here.
Indeed. It seems that tires are being managed quite nicely by the Ferrari driver there. Even Heisenberg has been pretty good at managing his tires because he was a bit slow to the start of each stint, but because of his tire wear, he was sort of able to claw his way back through. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, few drivers in the softs here trying to duke it out. Monk, right behind PK there. Although those softs are already looking like they're 100 years old or something because they're absolutely worn out already within just 5 laps of racing.
Yeah, I don't think those pressures were meant for the softs. I think those pressures meant for those mediums and hard tires, and again, that is why those softs have died so quickly. But yeah, let's see what happens. We're on the last lap right now. So again, Shawshank has initiated the last lap. He's down towards, I believe he's in Sector 2 right now, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, at the end of, Sector 3 right now, coming on towards the line.
This is closed up to Heisenberg again, even after that half spin.
Yeah, but again, Ritesh has that 3-second penalty, so Ritesh won't be able to pull up anything unless Heisenberg really screws up. And here's your winner for the day, Shawshank comes home to take P1. An amazing, 5 second what?
Yeah, he had a 5 seconds.
Oh, okay, yeah,
okay.
Okay.
In the pit, so it's just been added.
And AJ gets promoted.
AJ gets P2, as you had mentioned, yeah. By 7/10, so that's quite close actually.
Yeah, and here comes Heisenberg again. Ritesh won't be able to pull closer to Heisenberg here, and again, Heisenberg, an amazing.
We go to the positions gained and lost and see.
How much? 10 positions for AJ. Damn.
Yeah, brilliant drive from him. Probably drive of the day actually. Just some unfathomably quick pace, and yeah, he's made his way back up the grid.
Yeah, again, one of the key losers from this would be Monk, Existence, and Seizure. I think Seizure, one of the few drivers who hit who was in on the front row and unfortunately didn't get a good start, got pushed back down the order, and then got into some mis- mischief with the other drivers there. Yeah,
And that
again,
was, well, I wouldn't say quite an eventful Tier 2 race. We've certainly had the likes of Silverstone, Singapore, Monza, where it's just been way more chaotic. But it's sometimes nice to have a breather, and we did see some great racing actually between some drivers and a lot of variance in setup. But yeah, that concludes a nice afternoon of racing there for these folks, and you have to round off the grid and let's get the podium interview started.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as soon as we see sort of the grid information, I'll definitely round that off. But yeah, still, I'm pretty impressed by the race we got, considering it is all Ricard and it is this weird track layout we have for this actual circuit. So again, just to start off, we have Shawshank in P1. Give it a second. We're just going through routines. As far as I remember, it's Shawshank in P1, AJ in P2, Arjun Senapati in P3, Heisenberg in P4, Ritesh in P5, Willickson in P6, Asian in P7. It's Shrey in P8, Facestack in P9, ABD28 in P10, Monk in P11, BK19 in P12, Rishi in P13, Charles Johns in P14, Duke in P15, and then we have Existent, who retired in P16.
Charles John wasn't last, lads.
Let's go. We have to look at the
Everything.
fastest lap and see how much the Ferrari took that by, because again, as usual, that's the second he's got that by. So again, a dominant drive from the Ferrari there.
I think Monk wasn't very far off, and his fastest lap is a 1:33.880.
Yeah,
so it's
but,
only a half a tenth off.
That
yeah,
was on
but
soft
Monk
tires.
was on soft tires.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, that rounds off a very nice, pleasant afternoon of some very fluid racing going on there in the grid. Nice overtakes here and there, good racecraft, good sort of switchback overtakes, and yeah, we should head on to the podium interviews. But just a quick thought of that race, lads. What do you think?
Yeah, it was one hell of a race. Like I said, I enjoyed it a lot considering it's France, and we got a lot. Although we didn't have a lot of fights, enough of a fight for P1, we still got a lot of fight for the midfield, and it was really fun seeing these drivers actually stay close to each other and contend for those positions.
Indeed. The dirty are not compounding to the drivers' lack of holding the car in a straight line, actually. But it's that corner, or that sector 1 split where it's just so hard that can just make or break your chances of an overtake into that chicane. If you can get a good exit out of that corner, and if your setup is blind towards that solely, then you're just sorted for the race. But yeah, we should just be heading on to the podium interviews in a bit, awaiting one driver who's still left. So I'm pretty sure we can start off. Yeah, we can start off with P2. AJ in the Haas. Great drive from you. Probably driver of the day by the game and probably by us as well, because you did start out of position. So yeah, talk us through that. How was your race?
Yeah, had a great race. Thank you for the compliments, but did not have a good quali. Was outside the top 10, I think, and knew I had to go on an alternate strategy, so started on the mediums. And in the later part, yeah, just had to manage my tires. Knew Arjun had a 3-second penalty, so I had to keep within those 3 seconds, and certainly the DRS from the back markers helped also.
Indeed, but again, you just had the good. You had the setup under you, maybe, because you were just looking very, very quick in the race. And do you think the hard tires were faster than the mediums or drivers in front of you by the end of it, because you were gaining on them?
Yeah, definitely. Hard tires were. I managed my tires pretty well, and by the end, I think his medium tires were getting pretty old, and like I was faster than him.
Indeed,
Yeah,
and with the setup, you had some pretty good straight line because you did make quite a few better moves. So did you slash off some downforce?
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, very good decision there because it did help you gain a few positions in the grid, up the grid. So yeah, congratulations on the P2, solid drive and half it. So you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, as far as I remember, AJ has been very consistent in this race because we've seen a lot of drivers make a lot of mistakes, right? And AJ was one of the first to pit, one of the first on that medium strategy to pit, and it worked out quite well for him because as soon as Shawshank came out of the pits, Shawshank was just 4 to 3 tenths off of AJ, and that's pretty good. That's a really good gap to maintain when the guys in front of you were just 3 to 4 seconds away in the front. So that strategy call actually worked quite well for you, AJ. I have to say that.
Thank you, thanks a lot.
Yeah, indeed, and that wraps up P2 again. Good try from you there. I think we do have Arjun back in the VC now, so we can go back to P3. Congrats on the podium. First of all, P3 is always nice to have, but certainly you'd be feeling a bit hard done by just missing out on P2 by 7 tenths after that penalty. So yeah, talk us through your race. How was it? Because you didn't have the pace to challenge Shawshank for the lead, but you did have the pace to keep the others behind.
Yeah, thanks a lot first of all for congratulating me. And the race start was great for me. I took many positions in the start itself, so that turned out good for me. But my setup was such that I didn't have any straight line speed, and in the last my tires were struggling a lot. The tires were 62% damaged, so I couldn't just keep up the pace and couldn't keep AJ behind for 3 seconds. And Shawshank was too quick for me. It was very quick.
Indeed, and it's been the case for most of the season actually. But yeah, again, good drive from you there. Good, congrats on the on-track P2. And I think you had made some few moves up the grid, or did you have a sort of a lonely race by the end of it?
At the start, I had some moves. I think I did a move on Monk or face crack. I think Monk just went out of the track and I overtook him. On face crack, I did a move, and in the start, I got a good start. So in start only, I took Ritesh also.
Yeah, you could see the AlphaTauri of face crack in front of you was sort of struggling on the exit, and you had the straight line advantage, or maybe he had too much straight line and he had no downforce. So could you sense that there was a move coming soon after him struggling on the exit there?
Yes, exactly. Just at the last, I couldn't manage the tires well. It was 62% damage, so couldn't keep AJ behind. So that's something I need to work on for the next race.
Indeed, yeah. Again, congrats on the P3. Podium is always good, and yeah, great stuff from you. Now, going on board to the man of the moment. Half, you have anything to add to that?
No, there's nothing to add again, Arjun. An amazing race. Shame for that penalty. Otherwise, you easily had that P2 in your hands.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Heading on to P1, another dominant drive for the Ferrari. Another clear win by quite a margin, but you did have an offing in the race, which sort of made things exciting, but then you just pulled away again. So, yeah, talk us through that. How was it?
Yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward race, I believe, for the first like 10-15 laps, and then that moment happened where because I had saved up enough amount of tires, so I just thought, okay, I'll push now for like a couple, and then I just hit that curb too hard on the right, and then I just spun out. But then luckily I had a big enough gap, so I'm like, okay, I have the pace, I can just easily make it up. And man, congrats to AJ coming back from 12, because when I was coming out with Arjun, I felt that okay, no one's gonna be behind me, but then I looked at my mirrors and then AJ was right there, and I had to push immediately with the mediums with cold tires. So man, props to him for making up so many positions.
Indeed, and maybe if you were starting further up, he could have possibly challenged you.
Okay, let's not kid ourselves.
Okay, man.
Damn.
Damn, bro. But yeah, again, a good dominant drive there, and your setup seems to be very inclined towards qualifying, maybe, but you sort of manage it in the race, and then you have these moments where you just go off track there because you get a twitch of oversteer, maybe. So, are you are you planning to do something about that, or are you just going to go with the same old oversteery setups now?
No, I mean I feel comfortable with my setup. I think it's just skill issue with myself, like, to keep it consistent for so many laps. So I just have to work on that. The setups, I feel I like the car a little oversteery. So yeah, I think that nothing's going to change about that.
Indeed, and you certainly know how to keep it on track and keep it on track by quite a margin. So again, a good drive from you. Furthering your lead in the championship as well. Pretty much everything's gone right for you this race, and we just have to wait for Strendy if he returns to the next one and sort of closes that gap back, but it does look unlikely. So yeah, again, a great race from you. And I think we should just round that up, boys. It's been a good one. It's been a pleasant one this afternoon. Not a lot of action, not a lot of drama, but some good old hard racing is what you'd love to see, and France did provide that. But if you want to stay in tune for more, do check out tonight at 8 p.m. We do go live again for Tier 1. France, the fastest boys in India, duking it out on this very, very twisty circuit. So do tune in for that. It's been Half and Moto. Eitzel who's had to leave us momentarily. It's been a pleasure, Half. And yeah, any last few words you want to say to round off the stream?
Yeah. I have one question for Shashank. How much do I pay you to miss the next 2 races so that we can actually have a title fight till the end? Regardless, it's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure here, Moto, in Tier 2. It's always fun to commentate Tier 2, and it's always a pleasure commentating with you as well. So yeah.
Lovely. Yeah, absolutely. It's been Moto and Half signing out. Do join us tonight for the Tier 1 race.